Hello, everybody. I want to welcome you to Readers Entertainment. And today we have one of my favorite authors, Amanda Jayde, joining us here. And she has written several books. She's got a werewolf series, she's got some witches, and all of them are amazing, amazing books. But today we are going to talk about Bewitched, which is the third book in the Boudoir and Broomsticks series, which I just love the name. It just makes you think magic. And I thought, Amanda, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about the series itself and the books that led up to Bewitched.
Thanks for having me. I'm really excited. So the Boudoirs and Broomsticks series was something that I came up with probably about 5 or 6 years ago as I was writing my werewolf series. And I thought, okay, after I finish the werewolves, I'll sort of segue into witches and maybe sort of tie them in, and sort of had all these weird ideas about how I was going to have this entire sort of Marvel-like universe. And what had happened was I had the opportunity to join in an anthology with you called Time Out of Darkness, and I thought, okay, well, this is great. I'll sort of use this short story as the segue into this other world that I had created in my head, and I had all these characters all set, and did that, and then sort of shelved it for a little bit and decided to work back on my werewolves, and sort of did that for a little while. And then last year, we had the opportunity to join into a collective of 100 authors who were going to do this collective where all of the authors were going to write completely different stories. They're all genres. And the only thing that sort of joined them together were these 5 elements. And it's called the Common Elements Romance Project. And they're stories that are historical, they're paranormal, they're contemporary, they're sweet, they're spicy. There's lots of great stories there. And so I thought, originally I was going to write a werewolf story for that and sort of jumpstart my werewolf series again. And when the elements came out, I said, this is not going to work for my werewolves, but I could sort of write a witch story. And so I did that, and the story is called Beguiled, and that's the first book in my series. So that's the cover. And I thought, well, this is great. And as soon as I finished that, I thought, okay, I can segue in with the rest of the books. And if I'm this excited about this series, I'm going to shoot through them. And I decided I was going to re-release my anthology story from our book and release it as part of the series. And that one I've released as a single called Spellbound. And that book is here. And so then I decided, well, as soon as Spellbound was out, since it was written, I had already started to write Bewitched. And I thought, okay, well, I'll release Spellbound as a single for 99 cents in May, and I'll release Bewitched in June as the full-length book. And there's the cover for Bewitched. So I'm really, really excited about this book. It's probably the longest book I've written, but there was a lot of story to tell there, and I just love the characters and the friendships that are there as well. And I thought it was just a fun world to sort of build in.
Yeah, that book is kind of like an ensemble cast. You have a lot of things going on. I mean, you have the main focus for sure, the romance, but a lot of really interesting secondary characters, and I really love that. Can you talk a little bit, let people know what that book is about?
So Bewitched is the story of a young woman who was cursed. And so she has sort of relived her life. She's a witch, and she was cursed. Her family has been cursed for hundreds of years. And her curse happens to be that should she fall in love, she'll die. And as usual with these stories, she falls in love as a young teenager, sort of first love. And because she sees an omen of her death, she decides that she needs to break up with him. And so she breaks his heart. And 11 years later, he comes back to town and wants to rekindle the relationship. And her dilemma is, does she rekindle this relationship because she really does truly love him and risk her life for it? Or does she push him away forever? And so she has a bunch of sort of witchy friends who are in her coven. Her best friends are also in her coven. And they've all got very strong opinions about what she should do with her love life.
So talk a little bit about Grayson, your hero. He's very sexy and very because he's a former Navy SEAL. So so yeah, sexy definitely. But what did you love most about him?
Well, Grayson, I think is yes, because seals are just naturally, I think everybody thinks the seal is going to be incredibly sexy and hot. But what I like about Grayson is that he's got a very strong family unit. He was orphaned as a young boy and brought in to live with his grandmother with his twin sister. And that sort of formed where he's a very protective person, and he likes to make sure that everyone around him is safe. So, of course, had Emily, my heroine, knows this about him and knows that he would risk his life for hers. And so she also wants to sort of protect him. But I like that he's sort of, everybody thinks he's this hard military guy, but he's really sort of like a marshmallow on the inside. He's very romantic and sort of soft for the people that he loves.
So now, what do you have coming up next, and can you tell us anything about it?
So my next book is called Bothered, and if you look at the series of books, they're actually called Bewitched, Bothered, and Bewildered, and it's based on the song, which I thought the lyrics were sort of really funny, and I got beguiled from the song as well, so I thought I'd just tie them all sort of very together with this witch song. So Bothered is the story of Emily's best friend, Abby, who is, she's a force to be reckoned with. She also owns a sex shop that is in the same building that belonged to Emily's mother, used to be an apothecary shop. So her sex shop, she always complains, smells like patchouli. And the hero in the book is Sam, and we meet Sam in Bewitched. He originally tries to date Emily. And Abby and Sam just do not get along. Abby hates Sam. So it's going to be a little bit of enemies to lovers type of story. So I'm really, really excited about writing that. And I love that Abby's also, she's a bigger heroine, so she's not a thin girl. She's got a little meat on her bones. It's going to be fun to write as well.
Oh, that sounds great. Now, you wrote Bewitched during NaNoWriMo. So you had, what, 60 to 80,000 words in a month, right?
Yes. So the NaNoWriMo challenge is to write 50,000 words in 30 days. And it's the National Novel Writing Month, which usually takes place in November. And I thought, well, okay, I need to get Bewitched out by June. So if I can start writing it in November, I should be okay. And the challenge was, can I write 50,000 words in November on this book? And the story just really wrote itself. And I think I wound up total with 86,000 words for November. If you go back through my Facebook, you'll see my little, I posted little pictures of my progress of every day. So I think I was averaging something like 2,000 words a night. And I was doing this as I was working full-time during the day and then writing just at night.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you like to do? What are your hobbies? Just, kind of something so people feel like they know you a little bit.
So I'm originally from New York, and I moved to Florida, gosh, it's got to be about 13 years now, to be closer to the rest of my family. Eventually, my immediate family has all moved down here, and now my extended family, we're all sort of together. And I love it. I kind of miss New York, but I try to go back to visit, once a year to sort of get it back in. But you can't beat the Florida weather and just being around family. I grew up with my family, and then we all sort of separated and then came back to Florida. But so we do a lot of Disney, and not recently, but we used to do a lot of Disney. And I like to read. I don't know if you can see. There's my bookshelves, and I write. And basically that's it. And during the winters, you can find me probably sitting in front of the TV watching Hallmark Christmas movies all the time, or Lifetime, or Ion. But that's like my crack. I can sit there and I'll watch it all day if you let me.
So where can people find out more about your books? Where can they interact with you online?
So you can go to my website, and my website is amandajayde.com. I'm also active on Facebook. I've got a page there, so it's under Amanda Jayde Author. And Twitter, I'm under Author Amanda J. And on Instagram, I'm under Author Amanda J. I'm also on BookBub and Goodreads. So you can find me almost anywhere.
And then just for people who are new to Amanda, Jayde is Jayde, correct?
That is correct. Yep.
All right. Well, thank you again for joining us on Readers Entertainment. And hopefully when you have your next book out, you'll come back and visit us.
I would love to.
I want to thank all of our listeners for joining us and for meeting Amanda Jayde, who is an amazing author. And I hope you'll give her Boudoirs and Broomsticks a try. Thanks.